Hello, hello, hello. This is Danny Ceballos with Unleashed Consulting and your Best Boss Boot Camp Minute. Today's letter comes from Need to Know in Nashville. And Need to Know says, Dear Danny, thanks for all the recommendations on what leaders should do. You are welcome, Need to Know. And by the way, if you didn't get to see or hear any of those, check them out. They are from last month. Anyway, Need to Know says, now tell us, what are the things that leaders shouldn't do? So for the next few Best Boss Bootcamp minutes, I'm going to give you some insights into the top 8 things that leaders shouldn't do. So for today, we're going to be talking about 2 different things. We're going to be talking about lack of integrity and lack of empathy. So lack of integrity for leaders are leaders who are dishonest, break promises, or act unethically, because they will quickly lose the trust and respect of their followers. So ask yourself, what is your level of integrity? And some things to keep in mind as you are working your integrity are, first of all, the acronym DAYSYWD, DASWD, which stands for do as you say you will do. So make sure that that is emblazoned on your forehead and that you are doing what you will say you will do all the time. Secondly, be the leader that you aspire to. Be the leader that you admire the most. So keep that person in mind as you are going through the day-to-day grind of being a best boss, of being a manager, of being a leader. That will really help with the integrity component. And then thirdly, it's something your grandma told you, but I'm going to tell you the same thing. Think before you speak. It's really actually a really good strategy for you as a leader, is to incorporate the practice of, before you say anything, as people are speaking with you, to acknowledge what they have said, to say, that's interesting, to acknowledge it, to repeat it back, and to pause before you speak. That simple strategy of pausing before you speak can make all the difference. The second thing I wanted to talk to you about was lack of empathy as number 2. So lack of empathy is a leader who is unresponsive to the needs and feelings of their team members, who may be seen as cold, distant, and uncaring. So there are 3 things that I wanted to point out with building up your empathy muscle. First of all, don't mix it up with sympathy. Sympathy and empathy are 2 very different things. Sympathy is feeling sorry for somebody. Empathy is feeling with somebody. So check out the Brené Brown video on empathy versus sympathy. It's terrific. It's really short, animated, and such a great reminder for you and perhaps to share with your teams around the importance of empathizing and not sympathizing. The same thing is to keep in mind another great thought leader, Anais Nin, who is a great a poet. And anyway, Anais says, we don't see things as they are, we see them as we are. I think that's a real check on ourselves, right? To appreciate that we are, when we're interacting with somebody, we are looking through our own lens. We are interpreting through our own lens. And so it's really difficult to be objective. So as you're building up your empathy muscles, keep in mind that your judge is going to be running rampant, right? And what you say and what you do. So keep in mind Anais' quote about seeing things as that we see things as we don't see things as they are, that we see them as we are. And then lastly, I want you to be the curious anthropologist, right? So as you are leaning into empathizing with another person, keep in mind what an anthropologist does, which is always looking deeper. Always, if you've been listening to me, you know I'm a big fan of the phrase, isn't that fascinating, or isn't that interesting, or tell me more. All 3 of those are close cousins of each other, and they're all great entrees into being really empathetic. So tell me some more. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that fascinating? Being curious all the time. Look for the sage in people. Look for the deeper, inner, wiser part of themselves. It's there. It's just a matter of how you get to it. All right, everybody, this is Danny Ceballos with Unleashed Consulting and the Best Boss Bootcamp Minute. Thanks so much. Look forward to talking with you next time about the next couple of things that you can do in order to, what the next couple of things that you should avoid as a leader. Bye now. Take care.